Alright family, so I am driving, so you will hear some noise in the background. Please bear with me, as well as I do have a tendency to struggle for words when I speak. But I'm going to make actually two videos and tie them into one, alright? So I want y'all to get a pen and paper, and I want y'all to write down Genesis 3, verse 14 and 15. I want y'all to read it, okay? And I want y'all to also watch the video, and y'all can correlate, y'all can tie it in with what I'm going to say later down in this video. Family, we have serpent-like creatures that live amongst us, okay? We have shapeshifters that live amongst us that's ruling in the upper class, you know what I'm saying? The powers that shouldn't be, they're the one that's ruling. They're from the serpent seed. How do we know? If you read Genesis 3, 14, and 15, if you focus on the 15th verse, it basically tells you that the enmity, which would be hatred towards Adam's seed, right? And the woman's seed, which would have been Adam's seed. Now, we know for thousands of years there have been hatred between two nations of people, two so-called races of people, right? So I don't even have to go far with that. Y'all should know who the fuck I'm talking about, right? Black people and white people have been at it for centuries. Why? Because white people are the one that's ruling, and they do not like us. They have their foot on our necks in many cases, literally, and this is why you see we're on the bottom. But I'm going to try to explain it to y'all possibly on another video if I can't do it on this one, but continue watching, because I'm going to tie in another video that I made earlier with this one to explain Genesis 3, 14, and 15. Okay? Enmity, once again, family, is hatred. Now, black people, you know who hate us the most, okay? And remember, Cain was from the serpent seed, because Abel was murdered by Cain. And how do we know that the serpent had a seed or offspring? Read Genesis 3 and focus on the 15th verse. You will see that the seed that referred to in the Bible is the offspring. Alright family, so you just seen the intro of what this video is going to be about. Please bear with me. I do have a tendency to struggle for words when I speak, and of course I am driving, so you will hear some noise in the background. Now, what I was trying to explain in the intro part of the video, in Genesis, when the Most High, or they refer to him as God, basically stated that he was going to put enmity between thee and the woman. I'm paraphrasing. Basically between the serpent and the woman. Enmity is referred to as hatred. Now, it says serpent. It did not say snake. I know many of y'all believe that a so-called black woman, which would have been Eve, seen a talking snake and listened to a talking snake. It doesn't make sense, because I don't think animals speak. Now, I know I've heard in the past where some Hebrew Israelite talked about back in the days animals used to speak. So why they don't speak today? And what did they do to deserve not speaking? You know what I'm saying? I mean, they didn't sin against the Most High, or did they? I know also y'all believe that, like once again, the serpent was a snake, and, the Most High punished a snake that already crawled on his belly to crawl on his belly. Now, some may say, well, no, before the snake had feet. Can you really picture a snake with feet? Family, let me give you a breakdown, because a lot of y'all don't really understand what y'all read, because y'all are just being preached to and teached to by these agents of the devil who call themselves pastors. The serpent is referred to, right? The serpent that's referred to in the Bible is basically a creature, a being, right? A serpent-like being. Now, I personally believe, based on my research, that the serpent-like creature was like in man form. Not necessarily man, but in man form. Now, I also believe that this serpent-like creature transformed itself, right, like a shapeshifter, like a reptilian that can shapeshift, transform himself to look like Adam in order to deceive Eve into having sex. It wasn't an apple she ate, family. It wasn't an apple she ate, because if you read the 15th verse, it tells you, you know what I'm saying? It tells you what happened, what occurred. What occurred was, basically, the serpent-like creature transformed itself to look like Adam, probably to deceive, to emulate Adam's, appearance, right? And tricked her into having sex, where she was impregnated by the serpent-like creature with Cain. Okay, and then right after she realized she was naked, what sex was about, she went and had intercourse with Adam, and then got pregnant with Abel. Now it did mention that there was twins, right? So basically, somebody say, well, how is it possible for you to be pregnant with twins with two different men? I've watched Maury Povich. As a matter of fact, you guys can do the research yourself. You can Google, can twins be for two different men? It's definitely possible, right? They're called fraternal twins. Like, I'm a fraternal twin. Not saying my mother was impregnated by two men, but who knows? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there back in the days when it happened, but I'm saying for the most part, it can happen. Okay, just like even in the story with Rebecca. Rebecca had two nations of people in her womb, right? She had Esau and Jacob, two manner of people. Not saying she was pregnant by two different men, but I'm just explaining to you that, you know, even the Bible refers to as two different nations. So Cain was of the serpent and Abel was of Adam. Okay, and to prove also to you that it was sex, why did the Most High punish Eve with childbearing? You know what I'm saying? In other words, why, if she ate an apple, why he didn't punish her by shutting her up? You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that. And to add something else, when the Most High, according to the story, paraphrasing, when the Most High came down and walking through the garden, what did they do? They ran and hid themselves. Why did they hid themselves? Because they knew they was naked. How did they knew they was naked? Because before then they was naked. Before they ate the apple. So how did they knew that they was naked? Because they had Eve had intercourse with the serpent-like creature, and that's how she knew they was naked. So much so they went in and made coverings from trees, from bushes or whatever, right? So I mean, sometimes we have to use common sense. You know, I know Christians are taught to listen to what the pastor say, go by what the pastor say, don't question anything, just, you know, hear what I say and that's it, follow what I tell you because it's coming from Jesus, right? I don't believe in Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ never existed. The whole New Testament concept was plagiarized from the Old Testament. Everything in the New Testament family was plagiarized from the Old Testament. If you want me to give you proof, just put a note in the comment section and I will give you instances where you see plagiarism in the New Testament from the Old Testament. Everything. I mean, every last thing. Out of Egypt I called my son, right? They try to say that Jesus Christ was prophesied in the Old Testament. No, that was Israel that was called out of Egypt. Everything, family. If it wasn't plagiarized from the Old Testament, it was plagiarized from the book of Enoch and other books, hidden books that they have hide from us. Okay? So again, there wasn't any snake in the garden. It was a shapeshifter. And another thing to add, remember when Cain killed Abel, right? The Most High said he was going to vanish Cain out of the Garden of Eden. And what did Cain say? Cain was worried about them finding him and kill him. They should seek to find me and kill me. I'm paraphrasing once again. You can go and look for the scriptures yourself in the Genesis account. He said they should seek to find me and kill me. Who are they? Did y'all know that there was two creation? Genesis 1:7 and Genesis 1:26, I believe it was, and Genesis 2:7. It's two different creations, because in Genesis 2:7 it says, and God formed man from the ground and blew the breath of life and man became a living soul. Totally different from the other creation. Other creation said, let us create man in our image, right? And then and you read further down, it said male and female he created them. So there was two different creation. And how do you know? Once again, because when Cain was worried about them seeking and finding him and killing him, the Most I say is going to put a mark on Cain, a protection on Cain, right? The mark, I believe, pretty much is the so-called white leprosy skin that we see today. That's what I believe, right? Because the serpent seed today that live amongst us today are wicked, just like how Cain was. You know, they're descendant of Cain. And I believe that was a mark, because remember, after everything happened, when Cain was vanished from the Garden of Eden, he actually went into Nod. He went into Nod and met his wife. Now, a lot of you idiots believe that he met his sister. Let me ask you this question. Right after Abel died, right? Didn't they have another son called Seth? So you're telling me Cain waited all this time till the parents had a daughter so he could marry his daughter? Because y'all Christian really believe that shit, right? And another thing to ask y'all, okay, so let's say, for example, that was the case. Wouldn't you surmise that Adam and Eve would have told his daughter not to mingle with those people over there, or if you come across your brother, don't deal with him because he's the one caused sin in the garden by bringing forth the first murder? You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't understand. Sometimes I hate to hear Christians talk about, oh no, it was an apple she ate. she ate an apple. So we eat apple today. Are we sinning against the Most High on a daily basis because we eat apple today? You know what I'm saying? Why was the Most High upset at them, you know, being naked and shit? How did it, realizing they was naked? You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't really understand the Bible. And I'm just making this to let y'all know that there are reptilians that live amongst us, because like I said, in Genesis, I think in Genesis, in the 15th verse, it says, I should put enmity. Enmity is hatred between thee and the woman's seed, right? Thy seed and the woman's seed, which means that the serpent had a seed. And if the serpent had a seed, that means they live on today. Because today you see white people, so-called white people, because they're not white, different shades of red, literally hating black people. Not all white people are wicked, but I do believe the majority of white people are wicked. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the one that's ruling this world. They're the one that's suppressing and you know what I'm saying, like our oppressors. Basically, they go around the world colonizing the world, and they bring forth death and destruction, nuclear weapons and weapons of mass destruction. Who does that? You know what I mean? Only Cain seed would have come up with ways to kill. You feel what I'm saying? So I just wanted to make this video to let you know, not all so-called mankind, or they call themselves humans, that appears to be human, are human. They are actually reptilian. I also personally believe that, you know, this is one of the reasons why they came up with this whole mask mandate, because I believe that the veil is lifting and they was trying to cover it up. But again, family, we do have reptilian shapeshifters that live amongst us, even in the so-called black community, because there's a saying, not all skin folks are kin folks. Not everybody that appears to be human are actually human. Okay, even the so-called powers that shouldn't be, the world leaders, I would say 99.9% of them are reptilians, because the serpent, I got cut off. As I would say, the serpent is going to make sure his offspring take leadership, because didn't the Bible say that Satan is the god of this world? And if Satan is the god of this world, don't you think he's going to make sure his offspring rule over this world? Because he's actually ruling over this prison planet. The Most High gave him dominion. He's the prince of the air, according to the scriptures. So again, family, I mean, you know, sometimes when we read, or not necessarily read, because a lot of y'all don't like to read for yourself. You like to just hear someone else's take on it, or his story, right? That's what they call it, history, his story on the take of the matter. But sometimes we really have to analyze what is being told to us, and just use common sense. I'm not well educated. I'm not a college grad or anything like that, but I do have a lot of common sense to know that, you know, you cannot eat an apple and sin against the Most High. If that's the case, that we are sinning against the Most High every time you take a bite into an apple. It doesn't make sense. You feel what I'm saying, family? So let me know what y'all think in the comment section, and with that I say shalom.